Good evening, sports fans. I had not originally planned to do a video, but it occurred to me it's been a while, and a few things have changed. And also, I wanted to make a rare comment on some movies that are coming out, and one that has already come out. Um, but first, the uh, the medical situation. Still generally pretty good. I don't know what Doc K is going to say when I see him in a few weeks, but the blood sugar mostly normal these days. When it's not normal, it's nominal. And once in a great while, if I stuff things into my face that I shouldn't and don't wait long enough after I've eaten them, it's a little out of hand. But mostly the blood sugars are good. Blood pressure also good. Um, the interesting part about all this is that a couple of weeks ago, my clinician and I agreed that we were going to try doubling the dose of Ozempic I'm taking, um, which I'm not taking mainly for weight loss. It's a secondary consideration, but boy howdy, with the increased dose, it's doing a hell of a job at that. Um, I'm for one thing, it's just crushing my appetite. I have to remind myself to eat, which is something that I have no experience with. um, but it's not very uncommon these days for me to eat breakfast and then about 6 or 7 hours later go, maybe I should eat something for dinner. So, um, so the weight is back down in the mid 390s. Um, I I expect to get probably below 390 by the time I see Dr. K on the first. As far as the legs go, yeah, they've started leaking again. And part of the reason I went down to Las Vegas this week was to see the wound care folks, and they were um, they were kind of optimistic about getting them to close up again. They were very happy that I'm spending more time horizontal, which helped with the left leg. And they gave me a bunch of stuff. It's right here by my elbow, and I'm supposed to change the bandages and the Curlix and the Spandagrips 2-3 times a week, and I'm going to do that tomorrow morning um, before I crawl out of bed, whenever that is. Um, so yeah, that's how that's going. Lymphedema Clinic, who for some reason made me an appointment at like 5:30 on Friday, um, gave me a bunch of compression stockings and Faro wraps, which are the deals that go around your lower leg and are secured with Velcro straps. My old ones, the Velcro was giving up the ghost, which is not too surprising since they should have been replaced a couple of years ago. But I forgot. And anyway, when the wounds have healed up, then I can go back to using the compression stockings and the Faro wraps to keep the insides of my legs on the inside where they belong. Um, Movies. I don't watch a lot of movies. For one thing, there's no theater here in Tonopah. Um, every so often there'll be some kind of deal at the community center where they'll show a movie, and in the almost 3 years that I've been here, I can't remember once when I've actually gotten off my ass and gone to see the movie. Even if it's been a movie that I kind of wanted to see, like Dog. Didn't happen. Anyway, um, the Sound of Freedom is getting a lot of attention. I don't think I'm going to see the movie. As I've gotten older, I've gotten a little more emotionally fragile, and this movie I think would break me very badly. I'm not going to talk about all the fuss in the media about it, but I tell you, the way the Times and the Graniad and a bunch of other lamestream media outlets are reacting to it, it certainly reminds me of the old line from the Bible. You know, the guilty flee when no man pursueth. Um, yeah, child trafficking is a serious problem, but I seriously doubt that me going and plunking down $20 to see this movie is going to change that one way or the other. And I do not want to be sitting there crying my eyes out in a theater. It's no, it's not my idea of a good time. On a somewhat lighter note, Oppenheimer is coming out on the 21st, along with the Barbie movie. And some people have noticed that the scheduling allows one to see both movies on the same day or night, which has given rise to a bunch of amusing Barbenheimer themes, or memes, I should say, including, and I've posted some of those at the other McCain as the daily the daily meme. I am particularly fond of the one that that puts Oppenheimer's famous quote in Barbie script. So that's pretty funny. As for the movies themselves, I have zero interest in Barbie. I didn't play with dolls or I'm sorry, action figures when I was a kid. And as far as Oppenheimer goes, I know that story. I'm I'm on the advisory board helping supervise the cleanup of what followed from Oppenheimer's work. Um, there there was an idiot on Twitter, some kind of Icelandic jerk off, who opined that, oh, this movie is about the setup for the biggest acts of terrorism of the 20th century. And that pissed me off. First of all, this guy's Icelandic. Fuck his opinion. You know, he doesn't. He. I doubt if he knows anybody on either side of that conflict, or has any relatives who know anybody on either side of that conflict. Me, most of my family was lucky. They weren't old enough to be involved in Olympic or Coronet. But I have a close friend. Well, maybe not that close anymore. We seem to have lost touch. But anyway, those of you who know both of us will probably know who I'm talking about. His dad was in the 30th Division, the Dixie Division, and uh, they were scheduled to land in Ariake Bay, which, if you take a look at the map, whether it's the one for the war game Operation Olympic or just a regular map of Japan, you'll see that Ariake Bay is a fucking death trap. First of all, you have to go through some straits to get there, and the Japanese had all kinds of artillery dug in all around the fucking bay. Um, so my friend's dad, who would have been in the second wave at Ariake with the 30th Division, had about a 90% chance of getting croaked before he made it to the beach. So I am not particularly sympathetic to any arguments that, oh, we shouldn't have used the bomb. Oh, really? We just finished burning the entire nation of Japan and their little fucking pink paper houses, as as one of the characters in the fellow that wrote the Flashman novels. It'll come to me when I stop thinking. George MacDonald Fraser's memoir of the Burma campaign, quartered safe out here. Um, LeMay had burned down most of Japan already. The Navy and the Air Force between them had pretty much destroyed not only the Imperial Japanese Navy, but much of the Japanese merchant marine, including their fishing boats. So, in addition to being homeless and starving, um, the Japanese were just in a very dire way. And it didn't matter. It did not matter. If you go back and you read the histories of the time, if you read the biographies of the people involved, they weren't going to surrender. Fuck no. Why should they? They were absolutely convinced that if we came ashore, they were going to butcher us and drive us back into the ocean. Nothing could change their mind. Not the Soviet declaration of war, not us warning them, hey, we're gonna wipe one of your cities right off the map, Bubba, if you don't surrender. Japanese didn't care. It took us not only nuking Hiroshima, but Nagasaki a week later to get the Imperial High Command and the Emperor thinking, they're gonna kill every goddamn one of us if we don't surrender. And I hate to say this, but we probably would have. If you look at the battles of Saipan, Tarawa, Okinawa, things did not go well for the civilian population that was caught in the middle of that mess. In fact, there was a recent post on Twitter by the Mainichi Daily News, which is the big newspaper in Japan, talking about the fact that the Ministry of Education had removed part of the history pertaining to the mass suicides on Saipan. Apparently, a lot of those folks, a lot of those Japanese didn't jump off the cliffs voluntarily. The army forced them to do so. So, yeah, anyone that thinks that the bombs were unnecessary can just kiss my ass. I mean, they're exhibiting their ignorance on a massive scale, and I'm not down with that. I basically told this guy to take his sanctimonious Monday morning quarterback and shove it up his ass, and then I muted him because you know I am trying my best not to let Twitter aggravate the shit out of me, but God knows there are so many people on there that are just ignorant as fuck, stupid, and hateful. Um, so I'm trying to control myself and stay off of it for most of the day because it's not good for me. Anyway, aside from that, everything else is pretty cool. I'm keeping up with the bills. I'm pulling ahead with paying down the credit cards. Life is continuing to be pretty good in Tonopah. Also, if you're watching this and you're not in a position to make it to Son of SilverCon, because it's down in Vegas and most of you watching this are probably on the other side of the continent, um, consider throwing us $20 for supporting membership. It's first year convention. I have no idea what the turnout's going to be like. Hoping for the best, planning for the worst. And that's about it. Thanks for your attention, and until next time, take care.